I just feel really discouraged at this point because I think, I put out fires during weddings and I sew blouses together, I iron things and I go way beyond the scope of what is actually hired. And I feel like I'm not really getting a lot of recognition for that or importance. I think people are just kind of stepping all over me and overlooking me. And then when these industry events happen and I realize like, wow, I have a lot of VIP clients. How come I'm not being invited? I mean, not to say that I would go, but the invite would be nice. So I'm kind of really stumped.
Hey there. You're listening to the Bridal Beauty Business Podcast. This is a show all about the bridal hair and makeup business. Forget competing on price. It's time to niche down and know your worth. This podcast was created for you to help you grow your bridal business so you can get the clients you want, do the work you love, and charge the rates that you deserve. So this is not my area of expertise, and I can relate to a lot of this. I am totally an introvert. I feel so awkward at events. I'm usually like the fly on the wall. And once I get to know somebody there, I cling on to them for dear life. Networking for me is really difficult. It's intimidating. So we have brought on Shay. Shay is a luxury wedding planner. She's created a space for wedding creatives to share their stories, feel more confident as business owners, and she really believes that we need communities to bring us together, and I just know she is the perfect person to answer our listener question today. Thanks, Shay, for coming on. I am excited for this episode because what's really neat is we always have other makeup artists on and things like that, but you're not a makeup artist. You're a wedding planner.
I am.
And you're the vendor that every other vendor wants to be friends with, right? Because you kind of have control of the situation. You're doing all the referrals. So I think it'll be really cool to like jump in and talk about things that you've seen have worked in the past and the things that people have tried to do that have come off as really icky. Before we get into all of that, how did you get into wedding planning? Is this what you've always been doing?
I feel like it started when I was little. I'm the one who planned my sweet 16. After that, I was like, I'm planning every birthday after that. And that just became a passion for me, just to be able to come up with an idea and then figure out all the things that you want to put together, like going on Pinterest, creating this whole theme and all that. And having that become a passion of mine was like instant. And so I decided, how do I become certified in this? I need to learn more information. So I went online, found a course, took it, became certified. And when I did my first wedding in 2012, it was over. It was like I found my happy place. I'm a big hopeless romantic and I love love. So I was like, this is it. Who doesn't want to be in a room full of love and happiness and all that all the time? It was like a no-brainer for me. So that's how I got into it.
I was literally thinking about that on the way over here, literally like minutes ago on my way in. I'm like, why do I love weddings? Like, what is it about it? Is it about the makeup? That's part of it. But what is it? And it's exactly the same thing. I love. I was going to have a lash line, which is the reason I was thinking about this. I was like, what kind of names would I come up with for these lashes? Because how do people think of these funky names? Some of them are so cool, so creative. And I'm like, it has to be around love. It's all going to be around love. And I think that's really going to help pull everything together. Did you grow up watching a lot of Disney movies and fairy tales? Yeah. I wonder if that has a lot to do with it. Same thing.
Yeah, I think it might. I never even put that together, but I am a huge Disney fan. So that kind of makes sense.
What is networking to you? What is your definition of it?
Oh my goodness. I see networking as expanding my knowledge and expanding my circle. I feel like nowadays I'm always trying to collaborate with people, and I've just been in this state of mind that you can learn from everyone you interact with. And for me, I'm just a sponge right now, just absorbing all the information, because yes, I may be the wedding planner and I may know bits and pieces of everybody's job, but I'm not an expert in makeup. I'm not an expert in catering. So if I can get those people or be around those people and just learn something new, then that's it for me. Learning something new every day is kind of the goal for me. So I see networking as just expanding my knowledge and my connection.
I love the way that you put that, because I think what a lot of people think networking it is making connections to further yourself and your business. But you're like, no, like it's
Mhm.
about having knowledge and the collective that you've put together. What is the name of it again?
It's called the Wedding
The
Insider
Wedding Insider
Society.
Society. It's not just about having more people in your pocket, but it's really like learning from one another, working together, and everyone mutually
Yep.
benefiting, right?
Yes.
Um, Episode is because Janie wrote in and she actually sent us a voice note and she's struggling with networking. She's like, she's been doing hair and makeup for years. She feels like she's not getting the recognition that she would want from it and that she's not getting
Mhm.
invited to these industry events that she would love to be a part of. Um, I have like a couple of things I want to say on it, but I'm gonna like kind of let you dive to that a little bit.
Okay.
There's a lot to unpack. Like, I think it's
No.
more than just networking. I think there's a lot of mindsets that need to happen as well. But I will
Yes.
kind of just let you take it and we'll go from there.
Okay. So, give me one question to start with, because I feel like
That
that was
is
a
a
lot.
lot, right? It's like two sentences, but there's so much to unpack there. So, what would you say to
Yes.
somebody that feels like they've been in this industry for so many years, but isn't comfortable with networking? They want to make more connections, but they don't really know how to go about
Mhm.
doing that.
I would say to that person, figure out what you're comfortable with. Figure out what's your comfort zone. So for me, as a wedding planner, to get my name out there, I was the one that had to design and come up with the styled shoots. Okay, what kind of theme do I want to do? Okay, who do I want to be a part of it? What kind of dresses? What kind of decor? All that stuff. I had to come up with it. And then I reached out to vendors to see if they want to be a part of it. So I had to be the person to take initiative and create that space to bring people into my space, to be able to create the content to show off to other people. Figure out what you're comfortable doing and then become an expert in that. Like, what are you okay with, and figure out different ways to reach out to people. Maybe people don't like networking face to face, but they can network on Facebook. Start adding people as Facebook friends, reaching out to them, talking with them, engaging with them. I feel like social media, we can take full advantage of it if face to face isn't just for you.
And everyone that you reach to be a part of your shoot, did everyone always say yes?
No, not everyone did not always say yes, and it's okay. Some people didn't have the time. Depending on when I wanted to do the styled shoot, it might be close to wedding season, so they didn't have the time to be a part of my project. So now I have to be more conscious of like, okay, when do I want to do this project? Is it wedding season? Is
Mm.
it, slow season? And putting those ideas together, but thinking of that months in advance to be like, okay, I want to do a styled shoot. What do I want to do? How do we put this together? And just thinking of new ways to network with people. Because I went to a networking event 2 days ago on Tuesday, and it was great. It was a great experience, but I felt a little uncomfortable. I'm the new person. No one knows me. Always trying to make a good impression. But I realized collaborating with people on Facebook was so much
Yeah.
easier. Just adding new people and getting to know people in their life and seeing how we can collaborate was so much easier than face
I
to
definitely
face.
find Facebook, texting, even voice notes on Instagram so much easier than connecting with somebody face to face. Face to face, I'm like the wallflower until I get really comfortable. I just don't want to be in a room with people that I don't know, which is weird because like we do bridals and we're in a room with people we don't know all the time. But that's so different
Mhm.
than this, right? On Facebook groups about doing style shoots in the summertime. And I'm like, I want to work with some of these vendors, but like I'm exhausted. You guys are planning this for a Monday. Like all my brushes have washed that day. Like there is no way timing those styled
Mhm.
shoots for a slower season or maybe just like a couple of days after where somebody might still have a setup that they haven't fully taken down yet that you can
Mhm.
take advantage of. I know we tried to do that like way back when. I don't know if this is a thing anymore, but sometimes the vendors would be setting up on like a Friday. I wouldn't have any brides because like I was just starting out at that time. So I would grab a model, dress her up, like collaborate with the clothing designer, and then I would show up before the bride and groom arrived, before the guests arrived. The event team was like, hey, like you can have 20 minutes to do your photos. So like I would just shove my model
Oh,
there,
wow.
do the photos, and then like that was a great way. And then right at the decor team, and then they're gonna show it. But just getting in any way that you can, because like people are busy, especially like now, 2 years after the pandemic. everyone's in like overdrive right now. This year is insane.
Yes.
So when people say no, don't be offended because you're going to get more no's than
Mhm.
yeses. All the time, it could be no because it's just not the right season for them. It could be no because they've done enough and feel like they don't need the marketing. It's not a no because they don't like you. I mean, like it could be, but like it's probably
Right.
not that.
True. Exactly.
So other than styled shoots, like if you're new to a city and you want to make more connections, like what are some things that you can do, or like what are some things that companies have done to introduce themselves in the past?
That's a good question. Besides going to networking events, I actually had a makeup artist reach out to me. She's from Houston. She has this amazing company. She has a one of those smaller like buses. I don't know how to want it, like kind of like the limo
Yeah.
buses. She turned that into her salon. And so she travels to brides in her, you can call it like a salon
Yeah.
bus, and it's beautifully decorated. And she wanted to be on my preferred vendors list. And I told her, if I haven't worked with you, I don't like to put people on my list because I can't vet for your work. And my couples come to me wanting to make sure that the vendors that they use for their wedding day is the best of the best, of course. So she actually invited me to come and do my makeup. She's like, come and let's set up a time. We'll do your makeup for you. And just so you can experience, my talents, you can see everything firsthand and you see what your couples are going to experience with me. And I've never had that done before. And I was like, wow, I really loved how you approached that. Like, okay, well, we don't know if we're ever going to work together
Yeah.
at a wedding, but I want you to experience my skills and I want to do your makeup for free so you can be able to fully
I
experience
love
it.
that idea. There's really just putting yourself out there and giving the person the experience. Just to step back a little bit, what is, for those that are listening and are completely new to this, what is a preferred vendor
Mhm.
list? Does every vendor have one? And why do you want to be on it?
So a preferred vendor list is basically a list of vendors that you absolutely love, I would say. You would want to be on someone's preferred vendor list because when they have clients come in, if I have a bride come in, I would give her my preferred vendor list so they can choose from that first before we dive in and research for new vendors. So it's just always being my go-to vendors. And not every vendor has one. I know mainly wedding planners and wedding venues
Mhm.
have them, but you would want to be on, if you can, be on other people's preferred vendor list so you can get more
And then how do
referrals.
you get on that list? Is it kind of just who you like and whose work you've liked in the past? Or is there more to it? Is it people you've connected with, you have really vibed with, gone to dinner with, worked with a lot of times?
I feel like it depends on it depends on the vendor. For me, it's more of like if I've worked with you and if we had a good vibe. Because I've actually been to weddings where vendors during the reception would start to drink, and I'm like, I won't be referring you to my client because you shouldn't be drinking on the job
Mhm.
anyway. So it's just really for me personally, it's for people I've connected with. Um, and see how much, the work that you've done in person and how you interacted with my clients, that's going to make me want to put you on my list and refer you to a
And if
next one.
you are on somebody's preferred vendor list, do
Mhm.
you have to put them on your preferred vendor list?
No, not
Is it weird if you
necessarily.
don't?
It's really up to you. I think it might be a little weird. They're just going to be like, how come you're on my list and I'm not on yours? It kind of goes back and forth to that mutual respect, I guess you can say. Like, okay, I'm on yours, let me put you on mine. But sometimes it's not that way because I know since I'm the wedding planner, I have a lot of makeup artists, florists, and photographers on my list, but those vendors may not even have a
Mhm.
preferred vendor list. So I don't expect for them to have me on their list. Maybe word of mouth, they might tell someone, but for me, it's more of the experience I want my clients to have with
Yeah.
me. So I'm not really too concerned of what another vendor is doing. And if they're not putting me on their list, that's perfectly fine. Me liking them has not changed if they did it or did not.
And has there been, or like, is there certain type of messages you tend to scroll past, or like, has there been a way people have reached out in the past trying to connect where you're like, yeah, like, no, like this whole mess, like, they're doing it for one reason only, and like, you just want to shut it down.
I do get those companies that do reach out to me asking just to be on my list. Hey, can I be on your list type of thing. They're not really trying to get to know me. What I liked about that one makeup artist in Houston is that she has a luxury brand. So that lets me know you're reaching out to me because our brands
Yeah.
match. You're not just reaching out to me just to be on my list. You're like, hey, I did my research. I saw your brand. Your brand matches mine because we're both trying to target luxury weddings. I love that you took the time to get to know me and my brand. A lot of people are just reaching out to whoever and trying to be on everybody's list. Um, but I feel like that is a great way to get referrals. But if I don't know you and I've never worked with you, there's a higher chance I'm not going to put you on my list. So if someone was to reach out to me and say, hey, I would love you to be a part of a project, and then after that, you know, can I be on your list? Sure, I would most likely do it because I've seen you face to face and we're, interacting, have that interaction. But just sending a message to just anyone, especially if it's a generic message that you just want to be on somebody's list, I don't
Yeah, I
recommend
wouldn't
that.
recommend cold messaging either. I used to do a lot of cold messages in the past because you don't know better. So like copy paste, sending to whoever. You do this to brands
Right.
all the time until you know better.
I want you to level with me for a minute. Have you even considered using an app for your trial notes, consultations, photos, and face charts? I get it. It's easily something that may have never crossed your mind. Maybe you like taking notes the good old-fashioned way, with a pen and paper. Maybe you've had the same phone for years and all your digital notes and photos are hella organized into pretty little folders. But for those of you that are like me, not living the clutter-free Pinterest life as much as you would like to be, the Total Beauty Planner can take the stress out of keeping your bridal notes and bookings beautifully organized all in one space. You deserve the best sleep of your life, not stressing last minute digging through files trying to find your bridal notes and photos from last year's trials. You should be enjoying the morning, showing up calm and confident before tapping into your artistic side. So be honest, are you ready to try something new? For a free 14-day trial, head to your app store and download the Total Beauty Planner.
But always give before you take or before you ask. So like if there's somebody
Yes.
that you want to work with, go on their Instagram account, start liking, start commenting, not just like hearts or like one-worded things, like be very genuine about it. Have conversations with them
Right.
on their page, share their stuff, and make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Really build that connection first, and automatically you guys will start fitting together if you guys are going to fit. But like if you're a makeup artist and you do very minimalistic makeup and you're messaging somebody like a vendor that does all the glam all the time, like that may or may not be the best fit, and vice versa. Like if you're doing glam to the T all the time, all the cut creases and glitter, and you're messaging a wedding planner that does very soft, rustic boho weddings, like it's got to
Mhm.
fit, right? You can't shove things like where they don't go.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about industry events. What can makeup artists do to be included in these events that are going on that they want to be a part of?
I'm one of those type of people that if, I search for it and I find a way to get in. I feel like if people don't know you, you're not going to get invited. So it's more of what events do you want to attend? Reach out to whoever is putting these events together, asking them, how do you get into their event? Just doing your research because there's so many makeup artists, so many wedding planners, so many of all of us. And it's hard to keep track of a lot of us, all of us actually. So I highly recommend if that's something you want to do, if you want to get into these industry events, don't wait for someone to invite you to it. Find a way to get into
I love
it.
that. Like, just ask. Just ask. It's not a big
Yeah.
deal. And I know there was one more thing that you said when we were chatting earlier. You said something about creating your own table, and I've heard this before, and I thought that was such great advice. Do you want to get that again?
Yes. If you have this great idea and you want people to be a part of it, sometimes you're the one that actually has to create it. When it comes to my community that I created, the Wedding Insider Society, I wanted a community where we can talk about mental health, where we can talk about self-care, we can talk about the months or days or weeks where, we don't get booked for anything, like just a safe space for us to talk and grow together and look at each other as a community and not competition. I couldn't find it, so I decided to create it. So if you don't see something out there that you want, or you want to be a part of something and you don't find it, create it yourself. And other people who are looking for the exact same thing that you are will find
I
you.
love that.
And don't be afraid to create your own table and stop trying to sit at everybody else's table. You might have to create your own and have people
And
sit
I
at
finally
yours.
jumped into your Facebook group, the Wedding Insider Society, the other day, and I was scrolling through, and it's still growing, but the content that you're putting in there and the conversations that you're starting are so good. Like the scenarios, and it's so well thought out. Usually you go into a Facebook group and it's just like, it's trying to like just get people talking about nothing, or kind of just trying to boost the algorithm. But the stuff that you're sharing, like
Right.
almost every single post made me stop and think. And I was going to start commenting on everything. I'm like, the girl's going to think I'm psycho. So I'm like, one thing at a time. Let me start over here.
Right.
But I love that. I love that you said about creating your own tables. So my coach Sheila Bella said the same thing a couple of years ago, and it's sometimes really scary at the beginning. And you
Yes.
think you can't do it. You get imposter syndrome. But she was like, if you want to be an authority figure in the industry in any way, like you have to do something big. So she kind of pushed me to do Elevate Lash Beauty a couple years ago. I did it once. It was a virtual online lash conference. The feedback was amazing. I was like so nervous the whole time through, but I loved doing it. Would I do it again? Probably not. Like, especially not on a bigger scale. And because I don't have the interest of doing it in person either, but like I did it once and it really did help me as a brand in that niche. So you really just got to get comfortable with getting uncomfortable, not take things personally. And when I did Elevate Lash Beauty, I reached out to so many people to speak, so many. And I had my top like 3 that I wanted. I was blessed that they said yes, but also because I also already had connections with them, right? One was my coach. The other was a podcast that I had followed from the very beginning. They were all brands that I had been supporting. And then the ones that said no were ones that I hadn't had the chance to make those great connections with yet. So it was completely understandable. But putting yourself out there and not being afraid of being shut down is probably the best armor that you can wear.
Right. Exactly.
Is there anything else that you think is important when it comes to networking that you should or shouldn't do?
When you go and network, regardless if it's online or offline, just have an open mind. Sometimes I might have this great idea and I go and interact with people and bring this idea to people, but they might try to help me tweak it a little bit, or they're just not interested, and it's okay. Don't be afraid of putting yourself out there, but then also have an open mind to new ideas and new connections. We don't know everything. We may be an expert in what we do and what we choose to do. I may be an expert in being a wedding planner, but there's always something new to learn. I'm not an expert in marketing. I'm not an expert in growing Facebook groups or, email marketing, but there's always something to learn. And just keeping that in mind, I feel like you will definitely flourish in so many
And
ways.
sharing what you learn as you go, which is what we're all doing, and brings the community together as well. I love
Exactly.
that aspect of it. I'm going to put us both on the spot here, and I think we can do this. So in my mind, I'm like, maybe we can come up with like a list of 5, 6, 10, however many we can come up of ways you could establish yourself as an authority in your field. Like have an established authority as a makeup artist, and kind of start building your brand a little bit bigger. So like, if you think of something, like just name it off. Like the first one that came to my mind was testimonials, making sure that after you have a client, after you have a bride, sending them, even automating it with your booking system, an email that goes out that will remind them to leave a testimonial on like Google reviews, or just even email you back with that testimonial so that you have a copy of it and you can use it for website. You can use it on your social media posts. You can use it in stories. You use it as reels with your wedding day footage that you've hopefully taken from that wedding day that you did the work. All of those things, like that's going to make you feel a little bit bigger and look a little bit bigger as well. Have anything in mind?
I would say you're just being authentic. I feel like not being afraid to show yourself. I feel like we're definitely in space, especially on social media, where people like to see people that are humans. So don't be afraid to show mistakes. Don't be afraid to show bad days. Just share that with people, because people buy from people. They don't buy from, businesses. So just be authentically yourself, and that can show you as an authority. I love that, as well.
Showing behind the scenes. It reminded me of a post that a makeup artist did. She filmed herself leaving every client's house. So it was just packing up her kit, walking, getting to her car. Like she was set up her phone and she was just exiting the houses, exiting the hotels, exiting the room. And it was to like some really intense, emotional, motivational music. And that really
Mm.
got me. Like I felt that and I was like, you go girl. Like you get it. You're working hard, you're doing your thing. Like you keep doing it. Like people will root for you when they see how hard you're working and what you're doing behind the scenes, whether they know you, whether they like you, whether they've just come across your page. When you're sharing something that's authentic and something that's transparent, people are going to root for you. Like, yeah.
Yes.
What else?
I think when it comes to being a makeup artist, like the before and afters, like I love
Oh,
those, but really just showing the dramatic before and afters are amazing. Like I watched one of your, I don't know if it was a reel, but it was like the day in a life. I absolutely loved it. And it said, you just did a wedding, but you were showing the look you were going for and then their face, and you showed the look on their
yes.
face. And it was absolutely amazing. And I really enjoyed watching that. So just seeing like the before and afters can just show off your talents without you having
And
to
that was
say
such an
anything.
easy one to do. It was literally 2 clips put together with an audio that was already trending at the time. That was super easy. Before and afters are great. Also, how to use a product. Because you might think that
Yes.
other people are already posting all the same things, but you guys are forgetting. I've said this 1,000 times. Other people have said this 1,000 times. We're following tons of other makeup artists. Our clients are not following 100,000 other makeup artists that we're following. So our algorithms are showing us something different. Our clients' algorithms are showing them something different. So sharing how to use a product, how to curl your lashes properly, little things like that will give a reason to keep coming back and trusting you and getting to know you.
Yes.
The
The
how
how
to's.
to's, we love
It's
it.
always easier said than done. I'm like writing this
Yes.
down. I'm like, okay, I need to do this today to post a how to. Amazing.
Yes, the how-tos for people who are not experts at putting on makeup. We'd love to understand like why you guys choose the type of products you choose, when you know why you choose those type of brushes, how you actually clean your products, things of that sort. Even though that's like routine for
Yeah,
you, it's new to us.
absolutely. And then people are going to be like, oh, look, she's sanitary. She's hygienic. This is definitely something I should look out for. One more thing
Yes.
is a little bit off course, but I think it's important because you just started Wedding Insider Society. You just started Wedding
Hmm.
Insider Society, which also came with starting a new Instagram account. And you're just like, I'm going to do this. It's a different brand. It's separate from my wedding planning clients. It's for a different group of people. So I'm going to start a new account. So I have friends that have like lost their Instagram accounts at 10K, at 15K. And they are just like sad about it. Obviously, like you cry about it. It's hard. You've built up like decades of work and tags and connections, but they also now don't want to start over. There's like that pushback. Like
Right.
it's been months. They still don't want to start over. Do they need to? Like, should they be? Like, you did it voluntarily. I've done it voluntarily.
Yeah. I say yes. But how you go about creating your content may be different. Um, I would say, the people that follow you for a reason. And if you're no longer there, they're missing you. So those people who found you will find you
Yeah.
again. They will love your content. Don't give up on that. I also would say find a way to connect with your community and your followers offline and not on social media. People talk about email marketing, building a community that's not on like Facebook, on different platform. Find a way to continue to connect with them because things like this happen all the
Yeah.
time. Social media is free, so they can do whatever they want with our platform and our profiles whenever. So don't give that up. And if you focus more on community than money and income, then you see things completely differently. You see that, okay, I'm providing value to my community and my
Yeah.
audience, and they value that and they're here for it. You just have a different mindset around it. Like you said, it's about mindset shifts when it comes to building your network. And I feel like we need to, as content creators, we need to start looking at our followers not as numbers. We have to look at them as our community and how do we want to serve them.
It's good. You actually gave me another idea for building authority with offline content is like holding a mini workshop for 30 to 45 minutes for even bridesmaids on DIY makeup. Do it at a small venue, get people in there. You're going to be building your list because people are going to sign up. Not everyone's going to show up, but you'll be building that email list. And then these bridesmaids might show up and be like, oh, I don't want to do my own makeup. She does it better. Let me hire her. Or when they get married, they have the chance to meet with you. And this is like the first pre-consult before the wedding day. And that helps you build authority as well. It's good. This has been great, Shay.
Exactly. Yes. And one little thing I want to throw in real quickly. I used to be this person to be scared to share content because just like if I share too much information, maybe they don't want to hire me. But we also need to shift our mind on that and think I'm sharing content because I'm sharing value to them, and people may not want to do it on their own, like you just mentioned. Like, yeah, even though you show me how to do my makeup, I promise you I may not even want to do it myself, and I'll just hire you to do it for me. So don't be scared to share.
Guys, the amount of money that I've spent on courses that I could get the information for free is insane. Like thousands and thousands of dollars. Because even though this person is giving away all of the content for free, I don't want to figure out what I have to do in what order, figure out how to put it together, figure out how to set it up. Like I just want to be shown, this is what I need to do from A to Z. This is how I do it, and just get it done. I mean, all the information is out there, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're doing a makeup, so example, if you're doing like a workshop and like you said for bridesmaids and you're showing them all the things that they need to do, they might have to go out and buy all this product, and the amount of products and stuff they had to buy, they could have just paid for your
but
services.
Don't intentionally show them tons of product just to make it seem more hectic. Like you want to actually help them. You do want to help them.
Exactly.
I just see people out there bringing like a whole ass kit to like this thing and just intimidating everyone. And it was like, oh no, like you want to help them. You want them to leave feeling empowered. You want them to leave feeling good. And then in the end, some of them will still come to you.
Exactly.
All right, girl. Thank you so much, Shay, for coming on. I am going to link all of your social media, the Wedding Insider Society's membership, everything in the show notes. Is there anything you want to share before we say bye?
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You know, you're doing this for a reason, and don't forget why.
You're doing this for a reason, and don't forget why. The best advice to end this episode off with. If you enjoyed this episode with Shay Ramsey, send me a DM at The Bridal Beauty Business and let me know. If you have any follow-up questions to the show, email them to info@neelamkaur.com, and I would love to do a follow-up episode to go over them. And if you didn't get the chance to take notes, you're listening on the go. We've done it all for you on the episode page over at neelamkaur.com. Until next time.